right, here we go. Back again, Florida Millennial, for another episode. And I have a new mic stand. Look at this. No hands. Great mic stand. Just like the old days when I used to do a real podcast. So now we're moving up in the world now. The Yeti Nano is not on the desk anymore. I can have all this space. Nothing you care about. All right, so a brand new episode. Tonight, we're going to talk about a multitude of things. We're going to go through the polling like I do every single night because we have to do that because it's election time, and that's what we do. So I will do that. And then I want to talk about a few things. I want to talk about Axios, who released an article today on how amazing Kamala Harris's social media following is. Which, for anybody who is actually on social media, knows that is complete crap. I mean, to think that Kamala Harris's social media presence is bigger than Trump's, it's just pure. I don't want to make this show all about complaining about the media. I really don't. I swear to you, I am not going to come on here every night and just complain about the media. But they give me so much material every night. I mean, every single day, I see multiple things from the media that are just outrageously off. And I'm not even talking about polling or anything. I'm just talking about the writing, the analysis, the so-called analysis. And Axios, there was a time when Axios was considered a place where you would go for like balanced. I mean, okay, some people might laugh at that, but when Axios first came on board, they were supposed to be, who was it? Michael Allen? Was that his name? Somebody can help me out here, but I think it was Allen, his name was. And he came out with Axios and he headed it up with, I think it was a couple of them. And the idea was that Axios was going to be a much more balanced channel, outlet, network, social media feed than all the others. There was supposed to be like have you ever seen one of those charts with all the media? It's like a spectrum, right, left, and all the media is there, and you got like CNN over in the center left, and you got MSNBC all the way to the left. Well, Axios was always like in the middle left, like just to the left of the center. So that was always their goal, that they were like, moderate, fair, but still pretty left, but not so left that they're going to turn you off. Anyways, it is clear by the article that I'm going to show you that that is just not the case. And there have been many other things, by the way, that Axios has done that I've just been like, what the heck? What the heck is this? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, as you see, the poly market, which has not changed at all, 50-49, not much for me to say there. We'll look over some polling. We'll talk a little bit about the debate and what they settled on for the debate, which will be on September the 10th, by the way. September the 10th. Mark it down in your calendars. Trump has said that he's keeping the fourth date open, the September 4th, for the Fox News debate. I would not hold your breath on that. The idea that Kamala is going to attend that one, I don't think so. Which just kind of proves, by the way, and I don't want to whine and complain. I don't want this show to be just me whining and complaining, but it just does go to show you. Trump has to show up at ABC and NBC, but she won't show up at the Fox News debate. And by the way, the Fox News debate is not being hosted by Sean Hannity. It's being hosted by probably Brett Baer and Martha McCallum. These people are not going to be hard hitting on the Democrats. I mean, it's going to be fair. You're not going to get the Candy Crowley treatment there. And for those who are old enough to remember the 2012 election, will remember the Candy Crowley incident, which was, back then we were all jaded already on the media, but it just accelerated from then on. Because if you remember, I don't want to go back and get too nostalgic here, but if you remember, Romney was actually leading, and he came out with a really good first debate. and they were all in a panic. And there have been books written about how Obama himself was also in a panic about what was going on. So they were all panicking. They were panic mode, panic city. And then the second debate, I think it was the second debate that Candy Crowley was moderating. And she interjected, and she couldn't even hold it in anymore. I'm pretty sure that the Obama campaign said, "Hey, can you help us out a little bit here?" Which is probably what they did, by the way, with the Zuckerberg thing, which I discussed last night. They probably said to Zuckerberg, "Hey, can you help us out like you did last time?" And Zuckerberg kind of went, "Nah, I don't think so. Not this time. We're not going through all that again. We're not going to be censoring stories for your benefit this time. Sorry, we're not going to do it." So anyway, yeah, she won't go on Fox News for the debate. And again, it's not going to be Sean Hannity and Jesse Waters moderating the Fox News debate. It's going to be Brett Baer and Martha McCallum. If you are afraid of Brett Baer and Martha McCallum, then I don't know. I don't know what to say. But this just shows the way Republicans are always swimming upstream. But I don't want to complain about it. I don't want to be the whole show me whining about the media. That's what it's been so far. But okay, so we'll talk about that. The other thing I want to talk about, and this may not be of interest to Americans, but people who know my roots, they know that I will talk about Canada every now and then. And there was a quite frankly, a shocking press conference that happened today with Justin Trudeau. And Trudeau held this press conference, and he basically came out and said they are curbing immigration hard. Foreign worker program, they are tightening the restrictions. And at the end, he said businesses should be hiring Canadian citizens. If they find that there's a shortage of workers because of this new program or because of the new restrictions, then they should hire Canadian citizens. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I mean, is it the case now that the Canadian government's, the extremely woke liberal Canadian government's position on immigration is now to the right of the Republican Party? So we will discuss that. And among other things, if we come to something else we want to discuss, I'll be here for about an hour. Hopefully, I try to keep it to an hour because you don't want me going on and on, right? I was trying to decide tonight between doing this live stream and going on Mark Halpern's show, because whenever I go on, he's really nice. He always lets me on. So I guess they want like a young Trump voice on there or something. I don't know. Oh, another announcement is that tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern, I am going to have David Chapman on the show. David Chapman, if you follow him on Twitter, on X, he is full of knowledge, full of opinions about the campaign and about politics and culture and everything. He's very well rounded, and I have been following him for a long time on X, and I thought, you know what, I want to start having guests on the show because I don't want it to just be me rambling. I really don't. I mean, it can be me rambling for like 90% of the time, but we're going to start bringing guests in for a different perspective, or at least a similar perspective, but someone else espousing it. And who knows, there might be some disagreement, because lately there has been much disagreement. Something else that I wanted to maybe touch on, I don't know if I'm going to do that tonight or tomorrow, but Nick Fuentes, you may not be familiar with Nick Fuentes, but Nick Fuentes and his groypers have decided they're going to take on the Trump campaign, and they're going to try and make them get back to their fundamental message, which, by the way, I have been talking about this for a while. You know, Nick may be doing it a little bit more aggressively than I would, but it's an interesting story, and he has a much bigger following, I think, than people realize. So I do want to talk about it. I do want to follow it. I do want to see where it goes, because he has a lot of, he has more power than people want to admit. He has a large following, and he's got some interesting points about the way the Trump campaign is being run. So I want to touch on that. So that's what we're going to do. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, please subscribe, please comment. I will read the live chats. And if you're on X, please follow me, Florida Millennial, FLA Millennial on X, and Florida Millennial on YouTube. I'm going to start posting on TikTok soon. TikTok is pretty amazing. I post something on there, and it completely takes off. It's crazy. Whenever I post on TikTok, it's incredible, just the virality of it. So is that how you would say something going viral? The virality? I don't know. Okay, so let's stop rambling for a bit and let's get to the news, shall we? Let's see less of me and more of this. Okay, so poly market, we're at 50% to 49. We haven't changed at all. It says Kamala's down by 1. I guess earlier today they were tied at one point. I'm guessing that's what happened. Because last time I checked yesterday, it was 50 to 49 as well. So Trump has a slight edge in the poly market odds. Let's go to the silver bulletin. I know people don't like when I go to Nate Silver and show stuff from Nate Silver's website. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. I'm going to show it. Because there's a lot of good polling there. So let's check it out, shall we? And by the way, this is an aggregate of polls here. This is not one poll. This is almost every poll. And this includes Rasmussen. This includes Trafalgar. So before you say that they're biased polls, I just, and I know that a lot of my audience is probably for Trump, and that's good. But I always want to be on the conservative side, not conservative politically, but I do also want to be on the conservative side politically, but I want to be conservative when it comes to the polling. In other words, I want to show people the worst case scenario so that I'd rather you go into the election thinking he's going to do worse and he does better than you go in thinking he's going to do amazing and he doesn't. Because I think there's a lot of people out there who are deliberately misleading you about the state of the race. Now, I'm not saying that Trump is going to lose. I'm just saying the people who are saying they're looking at every poll where Trump isn't winning, they just completely discard it as garbage. And I'm not going to do that. Like, there are junk polls, don't get me wrong. We all remember the Wisconsin poll in 2020 showing Trump down by, what was it? It was a laughable amount, like 20 points or something. So we all remember that one. So there are polls that aren't good, but just because a poll doesn't show sort of what we would want it to show doesn't mean I'm going to just dismiss it outright. Just so everyone knows, just so everyone's clear. So let's take a look. This is an aggregate of the polls. Harris 49.2, Trump 45.4. And once again, I will remind everybody, I always add 2 points onto any poll that Trump is in. I always add 2 points on. Why? Because Trump is notoriously under-polled. And actually, I saw that James Carville was on Bill Maher's show. I think it was on, Friday night. He does the show Friday nights, right? He was on Bill Maher's show on Friday night, and Rush used to call him the forehead. Now, I have a big forehead, so I can't really make fun of him too much. But he was on Bill Maher's show, and he made the same statement that Trump is underpolled, meaning that he always performs better in the election than the polls indicate that he may be doing. So if this one has Trump at 45.4, I think Trump's about at 47. So I think the race is about 49, 47. And I will remind you, if the race is at 49, 47 nationally, popular vote, Trump is in a very good position. Because remember, Trump won the election in 2016 with 46% of the vote. Now, Hillary happened to only have 48% of the vote. And that really is the task, is to make sure, if you're Donald Trump, your task is to make sure that Kamala does not go above, I would say, 49. 49 has to be the most she gets. Popular vote nationally if Trump wants to win. So there's that. let's take a look at the swing states. I always like to look at the change from last week. Don't really worry too much about the change from last month because we know that a lot has been going on, obviously. So it's not like, it's not like we're unaware that the candidate changed. The candidate did change. So just keep that in mind. So let's take a look at the change from last week. There isn't really a big standout. Virginia, 1.2 more for the Democrats. I think, honestly, I really hate to break it to everybody, but I think Virginia is a mirage. Now, I think that David Chapman is going to disagree with me on that. So it'll be interesting. I want to hear his reasoning for Virginia going for Trump. So we'll see. We'll see about that. And there's no other really big standouts here. Like anything I see that's a point more, then that's something to pay attention to. But a lot of them are just like below a point, 0.6, 0.2, 0.0, 0.9. So right now, Nate Silver has Pennsylvania for Harris, +2 for Harris. Michigan, +3 for Harris. North Carolina, +1 for Harris. I think Trump's going to win North Carolina. Wisconsin, 49-45, so +4 for Harris. Georgia, basically tied. Arizona, +2 for Harris. I think Trump will win Arizona. Nevada, +1 for Harris. Florida, +3 for Trump. Sorry, 5 for Trump. I don't really think Florida should be on the swing state list. I may regret saying that. I live here in Florida. I know the state, I think, fairly well now. And I kind of know the mood, and I just have a feeling that this is a lock for Trump. And I don't want to regret saying that at some other point. And then, of course, Virginia, which I already discussed. So, and here's the latest polls that have come out. Gravis has Democrat +7. I think that's a little bit ambitious, but Morning Consult, Democrat +4. Echelon Insights. I think I quoted the Echelon Insights poll last night, 48-47. That's honestly where I think the race is right now. Now, the interesting thing about the Morning Consult poll is that look at the amount of voters that were polled here. Almost 8,000 voters. Now, these are registered voters, not likely voters. Whenever you see LV, just because a lot of people maybe don't know this, so I'm just going through it. LV is likely voters. RV is registered voters. So as you're aware, not every registered voter votes. As a matter of fact, usually only about 65%, 70% at the most. They got a really high number in 2020, but that was because of mail-in ballots and sending a ballot to everyone's home. Of course, you're going to increase the participation, which was the goal, by the way, because Biden had very, very low enthusiasm, and so they're benefiting greatly from mailing out the ballots. But we won't get into that. But 48-47, I tend to think that's where it sits. But the Morning Consult has it at 48-44. And that's almost 8,000 registered voters. But will those people vote? My point is, in that group, you probably have a lot of young people who are registered who aren't going to vote. It's just a fact that no matter who the candidate is, doesn't matter if it's Obama or Kamala or Biden, the youth turnout tends to be quite low. So I think whenever you see registered voters and you see a poll, just make sure you take that with a little grain of salt because, of course, we know that they don't all turn out. So there's that. And that's about it. I mean, you can look at the individual states here. Pennsylvania is going to be a big one. Again, some of these states are Democrat convention. The main takeaway, though, is that we're not seeing a huge jump for Kamala. And usually this would be like the peak of the campaign. Usually the peak of the campaign is after the convention, after your convention. unless you have like an incredible debate or something. Usually that's when the peak of the campaign is. And if this is the peak of the campaign for Kamala, it's a pretty low peak, just to say it. So there we go. That's just your polling. I could go through many more polls, but the reason I use Nate Silver is because it's an aggregate, and a lot of times it's just easier to look at the aggregate than to look at every individual one. Now, yeah, every now and then you're going to see interesting ones that are kind of standout polls. I mean, we can go to, let me just see here. I'm kind of doing this on the fly. Does Polling USA have a lot? No. What is the one I always follow? Political polls in this one. Okay, let's just take a look at their Twitter feed. We'll share this tab instead. Let's see if it comes through. Yeah, good. So there, I mean, this is using Polymarket as well. Let's see if there's any interesting polls here. This one has Harris up 2 nationally. Not a bad number for Trump there. North Carolina, Trump leading by 4. I am adamant that Trump is winning North Carolina. I would look, I am not a betting man, but I would place a lot of money that Trump's going to win North Carolina. Do not take this as betting advice, please. Just take it simply as my opinion, one man's opinion, that Trump's going to win North Carolina. 18-29, 58-29. This is where the big shift has been since Biden left the race. YouGov 47-46 for Harris. Again, these are all August 23rd, 25th, August 22nd, 26th. So this is after her speech, her big night. Harris 49, Trump 45. So I continue to say, and people who watched the 2016 election know this, Hillary, and there are so many people they have interviewed, and specifically Steve Bannon from the Trump campaign, who is now in prison, incidentally. And Bannon said that what they noticed, him and Kellyanne Conway, is that Hillary Clinton had a ceiling. We often hear about the glass ceiling. She had a polling ceiling, okay? And her ceiling, they noticed that she never really went above 48%, 49%. Sometimes she'd poll at 50%. But they noticed that was rare. That was odd, because if you went back to 2012, there were plenty of polls that showed Obama at 51, 52, 53%. He would consistently poll over 50%. So what was this telling us? This was telling us that Hillary Clinton had a ceiling, that there was a certain amount of people who just were going to refuse to vote for her no matter what. And if she had a ceiling, that meant that, Trump didn't have to get 52% of the vote, 51% of the vote. He simply needed to get 48, 47. Now, he ended up getting 46, and the race was extremely, extremely close. I mean, Trump won that election by not many votes at all in a few swing states. It's truly a remarkable feat that he accomplished there. So I'm starting to see the same kind of thing going on with Kamala, that she's got that ceiling again, same as Hillary did. Now, if you look back to 2020, Biden did not have a ceiling. Biden tended not to have such a low ceiling. There were multiple polls, both swing state polls and national polling, that showed him at 50, 51, 52, 54, some of them. And so he didn't have that same problem, but I'm starting to see Kamala having that issue. So let's just scroll down a little bit. Arizona, Trump 47, Harris 44. Cruz is in a very tough race there with the Democrat opponent, 47-45. Texas is changing very quickly, as are many of these states. Let's See, in Texas, Trump 49, Harris 44. See, there was a time when the Republican candidate for president would win Texas by like 10, 15 points. Those days are over. National general election, Trump 49, Harris 46, a great poll for Trump. And it shows you the breakdown here. This is how it was. Trump 47, Harris 45, Kennedy 4%. You're seeing that this is having an effect. This is the Rasmussen poll. A lot of people think Rasmussen is overly friendly to Trump. But if this is true, and if this is indicative, then this means that the Kennedy endorsement has thrown some support to Trump. So Pennsylvania, Trump 47, but I don't know why they have Biden there. Harris job approval, 50%, 48. And we get back to the poly market odds. These are the poly market odds for each swing state. Georgia 60, Harris 40 in Georgia. Arizona 55, 45 for Trump. Nevada 53, 47 for Trump. Pennsylvania 51, 49 for Trump. Wisconsin 57, 43 for Harris. That's because a lot of polling is showing Wisconsin as a tough state for Trump. I'm surprised at that. Wisconsin's a pretty rural state, but 61, 39. I'm surprised by that one too. So if the polling market odds are any indication, Trump needs to focus on Pennsylvania, Nevada, Georgia. So that's what we're looking at polling. I know we don't want to look at too many numbers, but I want to give you an idea of not just what Nate Silver is saying, but what everyone else is saying. I love looking at the poly market odds. I know it's not like a scientific poll or anything, but the reason I like looking at the poly market odds is because it's real money. People are putting real money down, and you tend to find out what people really think when they're putting their money down. Like, it's easy for someone to say, well, I think Virginia's going for Trump. But then it's a whole other thing to say that and then to actually believe that and actually wager something for that to happen. Because remember, this was a state that Trump lost to Biden by 10 points. Lost to Hillary. I checked it last night. He lost it to Hillary by like 4 points. I thought it was more than that. So he came closer. He came closer to winning Virginia than I really knew. But so anyway, okay, that's enough of that. We've looked at that for long enough. What I want to do now, and I can probably keep it on the same tab here because I replied to this tweet like I sometimes do, getting a little feisty on here. Let's scroll down to it. Where is it here? Okay, here's the article. Let's open it up. And the heading here is what's behind Harris's social media dominance. And as you can see, they've got her dancing on the cursor. Like, look at how cool she is in her Keds or whatever, and her or whatever those are. What are those? I have a pair of those. Converse, right? Converse. Well, so let's just read a little bit of this pablum before I rip it apart. Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign has let me get that out. I hate looking at that stupid moving image. Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign has dominated social media with an influx of viral memes and cutting taunts of the opposition. And behind the keyboard is a team of Gen Zers. The big picture, the mobilization team, made up of the generation that encompasses 12 to 27-year-olds, is 12-year-olds are making her memes? I mean, I remember Trump had like 15-year-olds making stuff for him in 2016, but 12-year-olds? I think that might be a bit of a stretch. Or maybe I'm just like a boomer now or something. I have no idea what's going on. Anyway, 12 to 17-year-olds is leveraging, talked about moments from the campaign trail and reacting with humor while capitalizing on viral TikTok trends to force a contrast between Harris and former President Trump. They've seen much success embracing brat summer, phenomenon, whatever that is, celebrity endorsements, and coconut tree memes. They've also embraced a cheeky communication strategy. Ooh, cheeky. that at times directly mocks Trump, who has been known to go after his opponents with insults and disparaging nicknames. So do you notice that when Trump was doing this in 2016, it was something dark is going on online. The memes online, they're getting darker, they're getting racist, they're getting really, really edgy, and it's just a bunch. And then remember how much they freaked out about the frog, about Pepe? They were going crazy. Remember Hillary Clinton actually mentioned Pepe the Frog at one of her rallies in 2016. They were flipping out over the online presence of young Trump voters and they said they were going to meme him all the way to the White House, and they did in fact meme him all the way to the White House by the numbers. Now, okay, let's look at numbers. Let's see what's the hype here. The Kamala Harris TikTok account gained 2 million followers in the first 24 hours since she became the presidential nominee, and now has over 4.8 million. Wow, 4.8 million. This begs the question, how many TikTok followers does Trump have? I wonder. Let's check it out. Oh, wow. Okay, 10.6 million followers. That's not bad. What does it say she has here? 10.6 million. 2 million followers. Now has 4.8 million. Okay, so hers has 4.8 million and Trump's has 10 million. And yet the story is that she's dominating TikTok. The first 6 TikTok videos had more than 113 million views combined as of earlier this month. I can't do it right now. I want someone to go and find out how many views did Donald Trump's first TikTok have, because it exploded. I remember it. From Kamala HQ account, which is rebranded from Biden HQ, has grown its following from 440,000 followers to 3.9 million followers. Behind the lines, the same team behind the stuffier, decorous Biden for president campaign has pivoted to a saucier, more ruthless Harris for president campaign. Axios is Mike Allen, right? See, I knew it was Mike Allen. I know you're not looking at the article right now, but that's fine. You can just listen to me read it. The campaign told Axios its TikTok videos had, as of August 9th, accumulated more than 462 million views since launch. The team has embraced the potential of memes to break through with a younger, perpetually online demographic, it said. The objective was to break through a challenging media environment to reach the voters who are the most difficult to reach and to meet them where they are, including on social media, a campaign spokesperson told Axios. So let me get this straight. Let's look at the followers for Trump. Okay, this is Trump's TikTok, which, by the way, he started like a month or two ago. 10.6 million followers, 40.6 million likes. Let's check out Kamala's. 4.8 million followers and 31.9 million likes. So why is it that she's there's no story about Trump dominating TikTok, even though he has more of a following? But Kamala, oh my gosh, she's taking TikTok by storm. Oh, the young people are coming out for her, and the memes, it's just fantastic. Lots of positive energy. When Trump does this kind of thing, and they remember 4chan, and back then it was Twitter, 4chan. They could not stand it that there was so much action. So much so, by the way, that they banned the Donald Trump Reddit page. The Trump Reddit page is gone, and it's been banned for years now, because that's where they were coming up with all the memes. The memes would probably start at 4chan, then they would move to Reddit, and then they would move to Twitter. And it was just a cycle that kept going. And back then, there were no puff pieces about it. It was this is dark, this is racist, this is white supremacist. We have to get rid of this right now. We have to get rid of it. And that's exactly what they did. They banned the Trump Reddit page permanently. And I remember that Reddit page. That Reddit page had a lot of followers. I distinctly remember going on there, and I was shocked because A friend told me, he goes, "You gotta go check out." It was R_the Donald or something. You go on there and it's just memes, like memes upon memes upon memes. And like some of them were extreme, yes. Okay. Yes, some of them were extreme. Okay. Some of them were in fact extreme. But the media reaction to this is just, I would say it's baffling, but it really isn't that baffling. Okay, so forget about TikTok. Let's go to X. Let's go to Twitter. Because we know TikTok is, there are a lot of people on there, but Twitter is where all the politicos are. Twitter is where all the influencers are. Or I should say X is where all the influencers are. So what is Trump's following here? By the way, this is after he was banned for what, 2 years? Donald Trump, 45th president of the United States, 90 million followers. Kamala Harris, how many followers does she have? Let's see. Oh, 20.8. So what, 4 times? More than 4 times the amount of followers? Trump dominates social media. But of course, this is the press. This is who they are. This is who the media is. And I don't intend to make this nightly stream or show about complaining about the media, but it's almost hard not to, because when you look at the blatant bias, the blatant favoritism, and with Biden, they were getting frustrated because they couldn't really do that with him. I mean, you try and write a story in Axios that Biden has a larger social media following than Trump, you'll be laughed at. Now, this should be laughed at because this is complete BS. This is a total misleading article. But this is who they are. This is who Axios is. This is written by Serene Habeshian. So if you want to let her know what you think about this piece of journalism, then go let her know. While we're on this page, I might as well click on this because we will talk about this a little bit. I hate to give her more publicity after that horrible article she wrote. But there is going to be a debate on the 10th of September. No, thank you. The 10th of September. Now, again, there is supposed to be one for the 4th of September on Fox News, but Kamala has supposedly backed out of that one, so she's not going to go to that one. So Trump is accepted the invitation for the September 10th debate, and this is going to be on ABC. Now, I really would like to read Trump's post. Oh, perfect. Thank you, Sabrine, or whatever your name was, for leaving the link. Let's take a look at it. So this is what Trump had to say about the debate. I have reached an agreement. Get ready. This is a real banger, this one. I have reached an agreement with radical left Democrats for a debate with Comrade Kamala Harris. It will be broadcast live on ABC Fake News. By far the nastiest and most unfair newscaster in the business on Tuesday, September the 10th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So he's already getting his digs in. The rules will be the same as the last CNN debate, which seemed to work out well for everyone except perhaps crooked Joe Biden. The debate will be stand-up, and candidates cannot bring notes or cheat sheets. We have also been given assurance by ABC that this will be a fair and equitable debate and that neither side will be given the questions in advance. No Donna Brazil. That's a reference to Donna Brazil feeding the questions to the Hillary Clinton campaign. Harris would not agree to the Fox News debate on September 4th, but that date will be held open in case she changes her mind or flip-flops, as she has done on every single one of her long-held and cherished policy beliefs. A possible third debate, which would go to NBC fake news in capital letters, has not been agreed to by the radical left. God bless America. Okay, so there you go. There's Trump's response, which was very Trumpian fashion. Okay. So there's going to be a debate on the 10th. And by the way, I don't know. This wasn't. Let's go back to the article. I want to see what did they decide to on the microphones. Trump said in a post on his True Social debate in which the microphones were muted when the candidates were not speaking. Okay, so the microphones will be muted because I keep hearing conflicting reports on this. Some people are saying the microphones will be muted, they won't be muted. I personally think for Trump, it's best that they are muted because it keeps him disciplined. And we just know that there's going to be, if they weren't muted, there's going to be one of those moments where Trump would interrupt her and she'd go, "Excuse me, I'm speaking," and it would be like a viral moment on her TikTok, which has followers the likes of which no presidential candidate has ever had, according to Axios. Okay. So that's that. We've been going for 40 minutes. So yes, the last thing that I wanted to talk about was, and I don't know if I'm going to play the video of it or not, but Justin Trudeau made an announcement today. He made an announcement in which, and here's the headline, PM Justin Trudeau says Canadian businesses should not increase their reliance on low-cost foreign labor. Quote, "It's not fair to Canadians struggling to find a good job, and it's not fair to those temporary foreign workers, some of whom are being mistreated and exploited." And he went on to say that he believed that if businesses don't like this, let me just get the golf out of there. If businesses don't like this, and there's then happens to be a shortage of labor, well, then they just might have to hire Canadians and invest in Canadian workers. Now, the reason this was extremely shocking to me, I mean, my jaw dropped when I saw this clip, was because it seems now, and this may tie into the Nick Fuentes Groyper war, it seems now, which nobody could have possibly predicted, it seems now that the Trudeau government, the woke leftist government of Canada, has a more restrictive and right-wing immigration policy than the Republican Party. Because I have not heard anything like this out of the Republican Party. And when I saw this clip today, I don't want to play it because they might hit me with a copyright claim. But when I saw this clip, I couldn't believe it. Let me see if I can find an article about it so I can read the actual article. It might be easier. We can go to a fake news site. Okay, let's try this one. Share this tab. Okay, here's the headline. This is a Canadian outlet, CTV News. Canada to restrict low-wage foreign workers, consider lower immigration targets. Okay, pause this. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is urging businesses to hire Canadians as his government announces new restrictions to limit the number of low-wage temporary foreign workers in the country. Ottawa is also considering whether to reduce its annual targets for permanent residency, a potential major shift in immigration policy for the Liberals. In response to mounting criticism, a recent influx in temporary workers, the federal government is bringing back pre-pandemic rules that made it harder for businesses to hire low-wage workers from abroad. So what's happening here is the Canadian government is saying, we have a bit of a crisis here because people are looking for jobs and they can't find them, and a lot of them are being filled by low-wage temporary workers. Now, is there nothing wrong with temporary workers? I mean, he even said it in the press conference. He said, "Look, the economy, we needed workers. We brought them all in, but now it's gotten to the point where we need to kind of change course." So he has done that. So very interesting stuff. And I could go on and on about that. I'm not going to, but it just shows you how even in woke liberal Canada, things are changing. And make no mistake, the reason why they are doing this is because of pressure from the people, from the population. They know where the public sits on this issue. And I would hazard to guess that polling would show that the American public is far, far more likely to be in favor of restrictive policies. But for whatever reason, that has not been a major push in the Republican Party. They go on a lot about illegal immigration, and that's a totally separate thing. But they don't really touch the legal immigration topic, and maybe there are reasons for that. I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting to see. What I was going to check out, and I don't know if I can do this on the fly, was can you if I start a Twitter space, now I'm really gonna seem like a boomer now. But could I do a live stream and a space at the same time? I don't think I can. But anyway, okay, so that's it for today. We did the polling, we did the Trudeau stuff, we did the Axios. The Axios thing was the big story, honestly. I just could not believe what I was watching there. Because, well, I could believe what I was reading and what I was watching, but it just goes to show you like how crazy these people are. And the lengths they will go to just completely lie about what's going on. Thank you to everybody who, I know it's a short one tonight, 50 minutes, not even an hour. Usually I go an hour or over, but tonight, some nights there's not as much to talk about, but we're going to have plenty to talk about every night. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Florida Millennial on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel. I thank you for all the support. Please like, please comment. Please let me know what you think. Subscribe to Florida Millennial on YouTube. And if you're following me or watching me on X, please subscribe to Florida Millennial on X. And I will see you all tomorrow night.